Interpersonal Communication by Troynisha Perryman, HSCO 508, Liberty University. Introduction. Interpersonal communication skills are learned behaviors that each individual can apply in order to improve relationships. These skills can be learned through continuous realization of need for improvement. Having to define the potential barriers in interpersonal contexts and how to deal with each barrier will be identified and provided internally and externally. Communication and communicating labels as the continuous complex collaborative process of verbal and nonverbal meaning making. Communication has 6 features of communication: meaning, choice, culture, identities, conversation, and nexting. Communication also has 2 very important aspects: exhaling, messages sending by the talker, and inhaling, messages reception by the listener. The suggestion to breathing emphasizes the impossibility in actual practice of separating these 2 processes, inhaling and exhaling. Identification of an overarching goal. It is difficult to understand others until we learn how to listen effectively to ourselves. To be more positive about life by depending on God to help me build relationships with others by getting to know them better, and depending and leaning on God through everything and praying that it will all be in His will. To use the I rational approach instead of the you blaming approach in communication. To master effective listening at all times. To inspire others to help them maximize them to their full potential, and to be an exceptional person with all the abilities that I have. Becoming more aware in my internal thought process, and also to communicate effectively with others in a way that influences interpersonal relationships to a higher level of trust and freedom. Enlarging the conversation. There is a direct link between the quality of your communication and the quality of your life. This encompasses all dynamics of interpersonal communication, conversation, and dialogue that occurs in relationships. It involves empathetic listening, nonverbal communication, and self-disclosure. It is the way in which we live our daily lives in a genuine, authentic state. It is world of meaning that people live both in and through by using their perception and observing others' actions. It also encourages us to form contact and maintain relationships with one another. It enables us to make sense of the world and our experiences in it. It bridges the gap between a person's inner and outer world, ultimately bridging the gap between reality and ideal. My background: culture, shared norms, values, beliefs, and related to how people live and communicate. I am a 24-year-old African American female, brought up in California, adopted by my grandparents. My religion is that I'm a Christian. I believe that prayer changes all things. I can do all things through Christ that strengthens me. There is a time for everything under the heavens. Behavioral blend. Behavioral blend is a personality pattern of some of the 4 different types of temperaments expressed by each individual. The 4 temperaments are abbreviated by 4 letters, D, I, C, and S, that are used to describe our unique personality. D, active and task-oriented. I, active and people-oriented. S, passive and task-oriented. And C, passive and people-oriented. My behavioral blends are CIS and SD. Positive and negative blend attributes. Positive attributes. I tend to be expected to have the balance of steel and velvet. I'm hard and then I'm soft. I can be strong and soft at the same time. People recognize my confidence and my humility. Negative, it impacts my interpersonal communication in terms of how I feel, think, make decisions, and also relate to others. Others see me as flexible, but sometimes confusing. As I view my behavioral blends, I reflect on how they affect me in certain areas of my life, both negatively and beneficially. Potential barriers in my interpersonal milieu. Being aware of habits can help people stop them. Barriers that are in my interpersonal milieu are semantic barrier, flat brain theory and flat brain syndrome, external distraction, and physical barriers. Noise pollution. There are two different types of noise pollution, internal and external. Internal pollution includes lack of concentration in conversation by either ignoring the talker or doing the biased listening. External pollution is caused by factors such as noise, room temperature, and unclear language. Noise pollution is a form of barrier or distraction to effective interpersonal communication. Communication noise refers to influences on effective communication that alter the interpretation of conversations. While often looked over, communication noise can have a profound impact both on our perception of interactions with others and our analysis of our own communication proficiency. Action plan. Be more aware and be more of an empathetic and active listener. Observe verbal and nonverbal communication, including listening to the use and tone and language. Be more secure and confident in my strengths and my weaknesses. Accomplishing more for myself and helping others believe in themselves. Being more articulate, which enhances my communication skills. And lastly, focus on my strengths to enhance my uniqueness. And this is my interpersonal communication project.